You are tuning in to the You Are Loved podcast, where we hope to bring love and kindness to the world.
Welcome to another You Are Loved podcast, where we have the beautiful Eboni McDonald, who is the founder and CEO of Femtour Professional Motivational Coaching. Eboni is a dynamic force from the suburbs just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She brings an extraordinary combination of resilience, education, and business acumen to the forefront. Holding both a bachelor's and master's degree in social work from Cabrini University and Temple University, she dedicated 5 years to supporting women, families, military personnel, and students in the Philadelphia School District. However, her ambition and creativity pushed her beyond these boundaries. A natural entrepreneur, Eboni ventured into business, owning a franchise and mastering the complexities of operations and management. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, she thrived in real estate, sales, and compliance analysis roles at leading financial institutions such as Wachovia and Wells Fargo. Oh, I used to have a Wachovia account years ago. In 2023, Eboni found her true passion in life coaching through the transformative She Heals the Inner Circle and Mastermind coaching platform. Further sharpening her skills with She's in Business coaches and the Positive Intelligence Coaching Training Program, she emerged as a certified coach committed to empowering others. Today, Eboni leads Femtour Professional Motivational Coaching, LLC, where she focuses on helping women rediscover themselves, break through self-doubt, and reclaim their power. With over 20 years of personal and professional experience, she guides women to prioritize themselves, find balance, and live a more abundant life. Join Eboni on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment and unlock the potential that's been waiting inside you. That's beautiful, Eboni. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Sometimes I feel like the bios are like tongue twisters. Anyways, that's great. So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and like what made you decide to transition out of like the education system into like entrepreneurship?
So I've always had an entrepreneur spirit, but where I guess our parents' generation, they never really kind of had given us the guidance, that generation. So a lot of things I had to figure out by trial and error, and to no fault to them, but I worked in field of social work for about 5 years, and I felt that there always was something more, but I just couldn't figure it out. And I had to go on like this unorthodox path, which I guess at that point it would have been considered that. And just find my way to a place where I felt like I can make an impact or I had a great passion for. And so it was directly after working in the field of social work that I wanted to pursue marketing actually back at that time, but it just didn't happen. And so I worked in various fields. I got married, had kids. And then at that point, my husband and I, we decided to start a business some years later, which was a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Greater Montgomery County, which was a commercial kitchen exhaust cleaning company.
Oh wow. Okay, but that's a niche. That's like a niche, you know?
It's a niche. And it was very male dominant. And so in that industry, I had to really have tough skin, around a lot of digging, and I had to build my business from infancy. And so we purchased a franchise. We started it from the ground up. I did cold calling, canvassing, my own marketing campaigns, and just built my business out. I built several vendor partnerships, extensive customer base, extensive network, and also was able to obtain some large government contracts, which was a great experience also. So it was through that I learned a lot about business. I love that I enjoyed business. I love helping people pursue their own dreams, but it wasn't quite it for me. It wasn't quite for my husband's thing. And so after that, COVID happened. And then just within a 2-year period, my world just started to collapse. And COVID happened and we had to dissolve the business.
Oh, wow. So restaurants still were like doing like takeouts and different things like that, but they didn't need because maybe they weren't doing as much business or.
So a lot of restaurants were being impacted and they were cutting us out the budget.
Oh.
So, it's fire prevention.
Yeah.
You would think it would be mandatory, but
yeah.
Unfortunately it's not. So,
Okay.
They cut us out their budget.
Okay. Yeah. So your next journey.
So after that, within a 2-year period, some things happened and I'm like, what is happening? So we dissolved the business in November 2020. My husband, he had gotten in a car accident and he had got a concussion. My aunt that I was caring for, she maybe some 5-6 months later, she ended up passing. She ended up passing at the beginning of COVID. And then some months after that, I found within the same week, my mom fell down the stairs, hit her head on our butler's pantry. It's pretty graphic. The kids were here. It was a lot. She broke some vertebrae in her neck. And
she was there at your house when that happened?
She was at my house at that point.
Okay. And you were home?
I was home. My children were home and she fell down.
Praise God it happened when you were there.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. So, we quickly called the ambulance. It was a pretty gory sight. She broke some vertebrae in her neck and she gashed her nose open and it was a whole situation. But within the same week, I found out that I had Graves' disease because I wasn't feeling well prior. Like I was having heart palpitations, my energy was low, lethargic, just going up like 3 stairs. And I pretty much stayed pretty fit. So I'm like, something is off. But I got to run and found out I had Graves' disease. Had to quickly go into surgery because I had allergic response to about 3 medications. Had a full thyroidectomy. I'm laying on my couch saying, my aunt passed. We lost the business. My husband had a concussion. My mom fell down the steps.
It's like, Lord, what else, right?
Yes. I'm like, I have to I'm applying to jobs. No doors are opening. And I'm like, I have a master's degree. I have business experience. And I'm pretty savvy at networking and building business. And I'm like, no one's hiring me. So I'm like, God, what is next? I'm laying on the bed and I am such an independent person. So for me to have to lay down, that was a struggle within itself.
Yeah.
It was like taking everything in me to not be able to do. And so I think maybe that was God's way of saying I need to rest because I was taking so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was laying on my couch and after months, applying for jobs, trying to get my energy back and trying to get back out there. I was praying to God, said, God, you have to, I'm praying I need something to open up for me. And the idea of coaching came up. I ironically received an email out of nowhere from She Heals the World, which is the mastermind, is a coaching program.
Oh,
and
wow.
I talked to Dr. Satar White. She's the one who owns that company. And we had a brief conversation. I told her I was really interested. And I applied for a job at the World Bank, got denied. So I was like, okay, I'm going all in. And it has been 10 toes down since then. I've like fully engaged myself. I did networking, joined different training programs, tried to build my skill set up and tried to learn more marketing because it's totally different than what I was
tried
doing.
Or you did?
I did. Did. You're absolutely right. I did. Thanks for correcting me. And I
correct myself on that too, by the way. So just as an FYI. Okay.
No, but it's true. Like I did it. And so I got to the point where I am now. I'm just working to help women reclaim their power, to become a priority of their life, to overcome struggles, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, undervalued, stretched thin, their tanks on E, and you're wondering what to do. I show women how to do exactly what I did, to push through, identify their core values and passions, set healthy boundaries for their life, create strategy, and then take action. I'm not promising that it's easy, but I love what I do. I love it. So much has happened. Yeah.
So you've so I'm a caretaker, kind of from a distance, but I put systems in place, which I'm going to end up taking all of it on myself, but for my mom, and my dad's still semi-functional. Well, he's actually pretty good. He's just having some short-term memory issues, but both my parents are 76. And so like in the caretaker part, like I fully understand that. I manage everything for my mom, the household, everything, right? And seeing her going through 2-time stroke, survivor, she's fully disabled. So she's not in a nursing home or anything like that. We have family that needed a place to stay. And my aunt was a great caretaker. So they made the decision we worked it out. They took that on, right? So they have a place to stay. And they also help care for my mom. And I get my freedom to do what I want, but also manage everything and be there for my dad as well, which is in like a completely different state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, which will change at some point. So, when you're going through all this, and was your mom living with you when your aunt was there, when you were taking care of your aunt as well?
At that time, she was.
Okay.
She was.
So and then I'm assuming that you and your husband have children?
We do. 3.
Okay. Okay. And they're living at home as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So you had a full household. So, and was that your mom's sister or your dad's sister?
My mom's sister.
Okay. So that must have been a really big loss for your mom as well, when her sister passed away.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a significant loss for us all. That was like a second mom to me. She was very involved in my childhood. And so it was a very difficult time. I had to do a DNR, which I don't recommend. I mean,
no, that's awful. Yeah.
So it was a very tough period. It was a very tough period. But I learned to be resilient. I learned strength. I learned more about myself, more than I ever have.
Yeah.
During that 2-year period, I found that I was stronger than what I ever knew. I learned things that I needed to let go. I learned things that I needed to take a grasp and a handle on, and just about life in general. And so it was difficult, painful, but I actually would have it no other way.
Yeah. There's times when like I'll be cleaning my mom, like getting her up in the morning or putting her down for bed or whatever. And a couple times, like I have to, whatever, but I would, even though I would just change my mindset, but like I get to be able to do this for my mom, it's like I would change my mindset and be like, okay, I'm blessed to be able to be here for my mom, to be able to clean her, put a fresh, disposable underwear is what I always call it, underwear. I don't like to say diaper because the whole mentality behind the thing, because I just really want to let her have as much dignity, because she still gets really embarrassed and stuff, as possible. So
yeah, for sure.
So the thing is like, as you're going through all this, it's a lot of stress you're having to deal with. And I can only relate personally, because not in regards, thank God my mom not passing away yet, but like the stress of like juggling so much. So I went through like anger, depression, sadness, numbness, like just all this stuff. So how did you were you able to, during that time, figure out how to create some balancing techniques, or create different boundaries, or what was your coping mechanisms or ways or healthy mechanisms that you installed into your life in those 2 years to help drive you through all these changes that you were going through?
So that's a really good question. No, it's ironic. When my aunt passed, it was a very obviously a difficult time, but very conflicting feelings when you have um, someone's life in the balance like that.
Yeah.
And so when you know someone who's struggling with their health
Yeah.
and they're tired, but for your own selfish reasons, you want them to stay
Yeah.
there, it's a very conflicting feeling. And in those last days, I remember experiencing those things like wanting to save her and push her to do things to maintain her health so she could stay here with us,
Yeah.
but also letting her go because she's tired and she'll be well.
Yeah.
So from that experience, I learned that I have to let some things go
Yeah.
because they're not in my control. I knew in
Yeah.
that moment, I believe in God. So it was beyond me. It was between her and God.
Yeah.
And so after that experience, I had to learn that I'm not anyone's savior. I'm not anyone's God.
Yeah.
I can only do what I can do. So at that point, after I began to learn how important it is to set boundaries and to say no and to learn what things I truly can control.
Mm.
You know, when you're a mother, when you're a wife, you're trying to manage a business, you're taking care of, like, if everything's not in order, you have to take control because if you
Yeah.
don't, everything will fall apart, right? Every woman
Right.
probably knows that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Experience the same way. So,
Especially if you're like a high ambitious kind of person and you want it. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So if you're not having control, you feel like everything will fall apart.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment where I felt everything was out of control. I
Yeah.
realized I have no real control.
Yeah.
And I had to hit rock bottom, what felt like rock bottom, to see that. And so I learned that at that point, I have no real control. And then I had to set boundaries for me to maintain my peace, for me to work to get to a healthy place. I started to focus on what was important to me because when you're that close to death, you begin to focus on life in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I began to see life differently. Like, okay, it is time for me to actually focus on me, take care of me, because I knew, like, look, Jackie, I spent everything. I put everything out on the line at that point. Like, I had
Yeah.
nothing else left to give, nothing.
Yeah.
So it was at that point I said, okay, now this is the time I have to take care of myself and take my life back
Yeah.
because no one's going to do it. Nobody's coming to rescue me.
Yeah.
No one's coming to dig me out. No one's going to give me the answers. Nobody's doing this for me. I had to get up, pull myself up, figure it out for myself so I could get to a place to do what it is that I want to do with my life. My life,
Yeah.
you know, outside of God, I have to control that.
Yeah.
And so I had to make different decisions. People were hurt. I was hurt. Children were impacted, but I had to do what was right for me. It is an ongoing journey. No one ever arrives. No
Yeah.
one ever arrives. And I think we have this false belief out here that because we may arrive monetarily, that it's over, we arrive, but we haven't arrived.
Yeah.
It is truly an ongoing journey to have self-reflection and to work on self. And that's what I truly want to see women do, is to become healed, to become the best versions of themselves, to live a life that's abundant. And that is so important to me. And that is like something that I'm truly passionate about. Like, I literally, if anybody knows me, I have like the purest heart. I have the purest heart. And I want to see women do well. But there's a side of me, because I understand the cost, that you'll see a different side of me, because I don't want you to have to experience pains and hurts that I have.
Yeah.
So I truly want to see women win, not just women, people in general, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah, you get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have to say the same thing because, like, our target audience is like women 35 to 55. But I always know there's going to be some spillage, but you got to have that. You got to have who your avatar is, right? Like, who's your core audience? Like, who am I here to serve? And there's a lot of men out there that serve other men in a Christian heterosexual way to be able to help that community, right? Overcome hurts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And nobody questions that, right? So it's okay.
yeah.
It's okay.
We have our space.
Yeah, they have their space. Let us have ours.
Exactly.
So, um, and so when you say arrived, like, what does arrived look like for you? What does that mean?
So, like I said, I don't know if anyone ever arrives. I would like to be able to leave here with a legacy of impact.
Mm,
I would like to do that. To me, I guess if we're going to say I arrive, it would be that.
mm,
Truly impact so many people's lives that they change and they walked in to who they're truly called to be and to
yeah,
live a life not being
okay.
right, not being confined about
Yeah,
this construct that we're under here in
yeah,
society. We're not built for a 9 to 5. We're not. That's
yeah,
not who we've been developed for. We've been
yeah,
given gifts and talents for a reason,
yeah,
not to work for a 9 to 5. Yes, it helps us obviously obtain, retain, and take care of ourselves, but it truly is not what we're called to do. And we
yeah,
have to follow the laws of the land, yes,
yeah,
but we are built for something far greater. And I want women to tap into that, tap into whatever you're passionate about, your core values, tap into the things that you have a strong desire for, that align with your belief systems, and make a difference, because we are truly here for service and our gifts
yeah,
aren't for us. They've been
yeah,
given to us so that we can take it outward, so we can empower, impact, and be of service to other people. And when we stop making it about us, I think this world will be such a better place. We keep making it about us, and we hoard our gifts, and we hoard, once we get luxuries, we hoard and put this barrier, this guard around us when we get this lavish and luxe life to, and I get it. Please
yeah.
understand, I get it, because you want to
Well,
protect
because
the
they're
world.
so afraid of all the vultures and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah,
And it's unfortunate. And I don't know, I can't say I know what that balance is. It's an individual journey
yeah,
when you're on a platform like this or just in general, but we are here for service,
yeah.
and that's not going to change.
So, what type of like coaching and consulting and stuff like that do you guys do? Do you do or do you
So
offer?
I currently am offering, I do one-on-one coaching. I offer one-on-one coaching and offer group coaching. I'm going
Okay.
to also doing speaking engagements. But again, we focus on, I said, we, identifying core values and passions, setting healthy boundaries, creating a strategy and a roadmap to figure out what it is you want to do for your life. That's where
Mm,
I have been. But as you know, as a coach, you are, if you follow me on my page, I just kind of talked about this briefly. You're going through your own self-healing
yeah. Yeah.
and you're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And so I try to be true to who I am. And this is what my niche has been. But I
Yeah.
feel like so quickly it's evolving into something else. It's morphing into something else. And I'm working on
Okay.
some things behind the scenes. But I want to be very clear on who my target audience is, because I believe in that space, that's where I'm going to make the greatest impact. And I want to be true to myself. I want to be true to those that I serve. And so that's why I said, I'm going to take a step back, self-care, regroup, because I have something new that I'm putting in place.
So who's your ideal like target audience? Like if you could have like describe one person.
Sure, it is women, ambitious women who maybe are looking to find work-life balance, who have
Okay.
struggled to balance their personal life and their professional career, whether that be business, whether that be the workspace, and they're trying to balance managing the care of loved ones, family, spouse, children, and pursue something different, far greater than what they've been doing. And so I want to work with those women so that they not only get to a place of financial wealth, but to a place of healing and living more abundantly, whatever that means for them, because it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's like pretty much what our core audience is as well.
But you know what? We're all different. Like
Yeah.
your life experience and my life, they're totally different. So
No, 100%. No, but we put on a podcast that I don't do coaching or anything like that. So, but I think that's amazing. Like I can tell you that like my friend Pam, she is the one that went over like she's like the boundary queen. So you kind of remind me of her in that aspect. And healthy boundaries, not, you know, like toxic boundaries. But it's she like really went over this whole thing of like time boundaries and stuff like that. And I felt like that was like a game changer for me. Although I haven't implemented all of it, right? She's much better at it because that's her core of who she is. But just having like different healthy boundaries. And I can say that like at one time I went to, for a couple years, went to a therapist. And that was a game changer for me because she really taught me the right type of tools to implement and put in place. Because a lot of times I think as women, especially ambitious women, we feel like we have to control everything, do it all, be the all to everybody. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we need to be told it's okay, you Absolutely. Know? It's okay to like say no to that. It's okay to not have to serve that person if it's not in the best interest for your family or yourself or your relationship with God or your career. It's okay. You don't have to worry about their feelings on that. They'll be okay.
Right. And, you know, whenever you have been part of that type of interaction with someone or a set of people, there's a benefit to those on the other side. And so whenever you break that cycle or that pattern, many people get upset because they're no longer benefiting. It's no longer a benefit to them when you change. Yeah. And so when that happens, you know, you're going to get pushback. Yeah. And that is to be expected. So I teach, be prepared for the pushback. Be prepared that people will get angry. Be prepared that some people may leave your life. That is okay. It may hurt. It may hurt for a little while. It may hurt for a long time. But when you are elevating your life, you're changing, you're choosing yourself, you're not wrong. And if those people who truly say they care about you and love you, they should understand. But if they do not, be clear. If they do not, that is something they have to work out because you are on a journey for yourself. Yeah. And on that journey, there are going to be a lot of things that are going to change when you begin to choose and make yourself first. Yeah. So
one of my biggest phrases is like, if like I am putting in a boundary with someone and then they want to manipulate it, they want to like try to emotionally manipulate me and, oh, that hurt me or that did this. And then my phrase is, well, that wasn't my intention and I can't control how you feel. That's up to you. That's your responsibility or something like that. And they just kind of look at me like, no, she didn't. But I'm like, that's one of my biggest phrases. I can't control how you feel. That's on you. Yeah. But that wasn't my intention. So, and I think that like, and it's okay to say that to people, especially when you recognize if someone is trying to, when you're like wanting to in place these healthy boundaries in your life and someone's wanting to, pierce past that and try to get back into like your old ways or something like that so they can emotionally manipulate you. It's, yeah. So, because I'm like a recovering people pleaser. And so, yeah.
No, I understand it. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, in our society, there's a lot of takers. Yeah. There's a lot of toxic behaviors, toxic patterns. And, you know, it's not something that is, you know, we stumble in that. There's things from probably our childhood and our past that draw us to certain people in certain situations. So we have to take ownership ourselves also.
100%.
Those people aren't fully blamed. People can only do what we allow. That's
100%.
another hard lesson that I had to learn. I'm like, I'm doing all this. I'm exhausted. It affected my health. It affected I'm stressed out. And I'm like, well, I can't blame everybody else because I decided to take care of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another hard lesson. And so that's part of like the things that I had to set for myself, setting boundaries as far as what am I willing to take care for. And so for me, I had to pull all the way back and just decide what things I'm going to take care of. And the rest has to just fall by the wayside. And what that looks like, initially that's scary, but I cannot take care of everything. And that's the thing. You have to get to a space where you're okay with what falls by the wayside. And you will find that we enable people when we don't allow them to do it. And if people are grown, they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And with some relationships that were close, I had to do just that and realize like people are grown and they have to be able to function without whatever I am providing for them, because I have to take what I am giving them so that I can be okay.
Yeah.
And remembering every day that I have to choose me. The only real responsibility is that my kids, they need me.
Yeah.
And so I have to be there for my kids and my family in that way and make sure that they're okay because they're young. But there's certain things that like adults can do, then they have to figure out a way to do it. As they just, you have the conversations, you communicate what your needs are. That's a big thing, like communicate really what you need. Because before we communicate, we have to make sure we know what we need so that we can communicate it clearly.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a conversation with yourself. What are you willing to release? Who are you willing to release if it's necessary? What are you willing to put in place? What are you willing to remain consistent with? What are you willing to do? And how far you go? And what's the cost if you do not?
Yeah.
And remind yourself of that. And I had to do that. And it's not easy by any means. I'm not saying that this is easy, but if you want to see your life move forward, if you want to put yourself in a position to live in abundance or financially free or do some of the things that you desire, you have to do this. And there is no way around it. I wish I could create like this cushy space forever, but you can't. Like life does not work out that way.
Do you help some of your clients figure out what their needs are?
So through assessments, they'll learn kind of maybe some of their needs may come up along the way, but it's more focusing on core values, passions, and as they're going through creating strategy, they'll learn what their needs are.
Okay.
Because, as you're creating your strategy, you're going to say, okay, well, in order to put this in place, they'll find out, well, I'm going to need more time if I really want this to happen. Or I'm going to need someone maybe to take care of my children so that I can do this. So it will reveal itself as they're creating that strategy. Yeah.
How's your mom doing, by the way?
My mom's doing great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she's doing great. She lives somewhere separately now. And
okay.
She's in a senior living community. She's doing well and all is great. She'll be 80 in a couple of years. Very vibrant. My mom is brilliant. My mom, she's a very brilliant woman. She's a very brilliant woman. And she's doing well.
That's good.
She's thriving as she should.
Ah, that's great. I got it. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So, well, that's beautiful. And your mom still has has all her faculties and that's a huge blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mom's sharp.
Yeah, that's great. So that's even better. So especially if you're living in a senior living facility and if she's able to, physically take care of herself and for the most part and has all her faculties so she can communicate if there's some messiness happening for her daughter to come in and handle some business, you know what I mean? If needed.
Well, hopefully there's no time soon. I just need my break. I need peace.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody needs.
I 100%. I understand. Believe
Yeah.
me. So yeah. So, but Ebony, if someone wanted to get some more information about like where they can find you, and before you say that, is there any like one last piece of wisdom or whatever you'd like to share with the audience, or a tip or anything like that?
Sure. I think the big thing is, as we talk about boundaries, learning the art of no. Learning
Yeah.
the art of no. And I think when we learn that, that is going to help us do what we've been talking about, setting these healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries, along with identifying your core values and passions, setting boundaries is going to be the roadmap that helps you get to the place where you can create strategy and then take action. So you really have to get comfortable with saying no. And again, ask yourself, what is the cost? And consider every time you don't say no to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. From accomplishing a goal, from writing that book, from opening that business, from moving up, from getting that promotion, every time you say yes. So when you put no in place, you are doing yourself a service, and then you're doing others that you're willing to serve a service as well. So remember the art of saying no. Remember to put yourself first, and it's okay, and it's definitely not selfish to implement self-care. I'm doing it right now. I am living what I preach. And if you follow me on my pages, you'll see that I said that, I'm taking time out for self-care. I'm really doing that right now.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest to myself and honest to the audience and the individuals that I serve. And self-care is absolutely important. I can't be only trying to give you what I know that I should be giving you. And you as a woman out there should not do the same. If you can't give it, it is okay. If you're not able to make it, it is okay. If it is compromising your health, your physical health, your mental health, your financial situation, or whatever it might be, you have permission to say no. And so I hope women really grasp that and remember that when we carry that, many have this superwoman syndrome. We can put down our cape. We can put down the cape for a little while, let it cool down, and then we can get back up and just start over again. But do it differently.
That's amazing. What's the website that they can get some more information at?
So if you want direct information, you want to set up a 30-minute complimentary call, you can email me at info@femtourcoaching.com. If you want to get information on my business, you can just type in my name, Eboni McDonald, on Google. You'll find my website. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Coach Eboni on Instagram, Eboni McDonald on Facebook, and Eboni_Femtour on TikTok.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm going to follow you on TikTok. And I'll have all the links that you sent me will be in the description along with your bio. Eboni, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing day and you are loved.
I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on another You Are Loved podcast. If you want to figure out more harmony and balance in your lives as well, you definitely can get our planner with our 1 hour mastermind that we are offering at youarelovedjournal.com, youarelovedjournal.com, and go there. That'll get you the 1 hour mastermind and the planner in one. And have an amazing day, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of You Are Loved. If you have any topic ideas or would like to be a guest on the show, please hit us up on Instagram at youareloved.store.